G'day, how you going? Ianapolis here, your acrylic guru from Australia. Welcome to my video. Did you see that painting in the intro? I'm going to teach you how to paint that in this video, and it is not as hard as some of you may think it is. If you think, oh, I think it is a bit hard for me, Ian, that's just your inner self knocking on your door saying, hey, it's doable, you just need to practice. When you put practice into procedures, you can do it. There's the size of the canvas. And I will also get some colours running up the screen there for you, because a lot of people like to know what colours I'm using. Okay, so I do have a traceable for this. Now you can use any animal you like as a silhouette. If you want the one I'm using, hit the links below. There's a traceable link and it'll take you to all the traceables relevant to all my 400 and something videos on my channel. Not all of them have traceables, but the ones that do, they're there. So come on over here and we'll get right into this project. Now I've drawn the horizon line, it's a bit under halfway, and I've got the foreground. With the traceable, this line on the traceable is what you have on your foreground. And I want the size of these animals just lower than the horizon line there. And if you don't have anything to transfer it onto your canvas, it's very easy. Just simply on the back side of it, lay it against the window, the light will shine through and you'll be able to see, and you scribble in the pencil over the image that you can see on the other side, and then you simply put it on your canvas where you want it. And I always use a red pen because I can see where I'm going, and I trace it on there, and you have your image transferred onto your canvas ready to go. Down here on my palette, I'm going to prime in the sky area with some craft paint and retarder. This retarder is going to stop this craft paint from drying. Well, it doesn't stop it from drying, it slows down the drying time anyway. So we'll get all this on the brush so I can prime in the sky. So I know I'm going to have trees here and a mountain there, so I don't need to go everywhere there. I'll just sort of go like that. And I want to prime in the whole sky half of the sky with this craft paint. It's just a soft titanium white, and it acts as a beautiful magic white like the oil artists use. Now I'm going to stroke that left and right just like a pure gentleman. Look at that. So easy, right across the page there. I've wiped my brush, I haven't washed it, and I've got some red gold here. I'm going to do most of the sky this colour, and we'll also put a darker value in there as well. So I'll pretty much start from here at the top of the sky and bring it down so it comes a bit lighter at the bottom, because I do want it lighter at the bottom, a lighter value. Just like that, get it on there. This corner is going to be darker, so I'm not worried about filling that up. And watch my whole video so you know what's going to happen, and you won't be in the dark about what's going on. So there's our sky colour. I'll get rid of some of those bands by pulling them downwards. There we go, and I'll stroke that left and right now, get it nice and smooth. I've simply wiped the brush again, and I'm picking up some nice dark dioxine purple. And I just simply want to crisscross it into this corner like that. I've got it there. Go down, I'm picking up some more. Now I want to, watch this, I'll use this to fork it into the painting the way I want it to come within the painting. You turn your brush around if you need to. Coming down here. This way I can control how I'm going to blend it into the painting. There like that. I want it nice across there. And see there, I've controlled where I want it into the painting. Now we'll just blend that into the sky. So I'm wiping that brush again. I want to pull that into the sky. The sky's nice and wet. There we go. Just like that from the purple side. Just like that. I'm getting rid of all that orange that's there because I'm painting off a board. There we go. Now I'll wipe that, and I'm simply going to soften it now. All the way across the painting, there we go. Let's try and crisscross that a little bit, just so it doesn't look too liney. We're going to have a cloud coming through here. Now if you want to get your blending brush and just sort of stamp down any strokey paintbrush strokes that you see that you might not like, if you're happy with the way it looks, you don't have to go this far, but I'm just showing you because it's something you can do or might want to do. Now I don't want to bring too much of that orange into that purple there. See what I'm doing here? I'm just stamping it down, making it a beautiful transition of the two colours, and I've got rid of those scratchy marks in there that I wasn't happy with. Now if you don't get them, that's good. If you do, you can do this, but practice is the key. Alright, I got my hog bristle fan brush and I've got titanium white from the tube. I'm not going to use that stuff, it's got no grunt, it's got no body to it. This stuff out of the tube, it's got everything you need into it. And I simply want to get some clouds, so I'll start from the top, and I want these kind of a bit of a body there. Pick up a bit more, and I'm going to start, let's say from all the way over here, we'll get something radiating up. So I'm stamping it on. See, if I brush it in, it's going to go too orangey. See all that white paint there? I'm stamping it on, trying to get a body of a cloud there. There we go. Just scratching up. And then we want to blend it. When I blend, I always have a kitchen cloth. Wipe the blending brush as I go. So I want to create the distortion to that paint that I've just stamped on there. Looking at the corner of the brush, have a look. Oh yeah, it's getting twisty and vibrant and full of luster, and I'm loving that. Look what's on the corner of my brush. I'll wipe that on the kitchen towel and then work out if you want to smear the top. Get some smears in there. And it's going to have the orange colour in it as well, and create the shape by dragging it. There we go. We've got that there. Now look at this. That looked like this. We're going to make this look like that. It's so easy. Watch. Grab a blending brush. Practice this procedure. Come up there. Twirl, drag, stop, and wipe the mess off the brush. It's that easy. You can do it. So I'm going to continue blending this. Blending it, I want it up in this motion there. We've got brighter bits and duller bits, blurrier bits, and we're just going to simply add more to that. Let's start from here. Boom. I'm going to bring another bit now in front of this, keeping them long and lengthy. Turn it around and get some more on your brush, just like that. That's the body of my cloud. I've sunken those ones back, and I'm going to blend them the same way I blended the one behind. So I can, if I want, leave that hard bit there to create different bits in front of everything. Stop, wipe your brush. It's important to keep your brush wiped. If you don't keep wiping it the way I teach people to blend, you will find you'll have dramas and you'll think, it never works for me. Look at that, smear it, look at that, it's just luster. And that white craft paint with that retarder has allowed this paint to behave like this, okay? Now these brushes that I use, if you want them, simply message me on Facebook, links below. I want to quickly get some more in, so we're coming here. Turn it around. And that's probably going to do it. If anything, I've funneled out from this spot here to give it that vibe of the sky that I want. I'm going to do the same again, just blend this, tassel it, twist it, give it turmoil, find out the thickness that I want, tickle the tops. And once you've done this, you can look at it, you can squint your eyes, and you can work out where you might want some yumminess. Yumminess, I'll show you what yumminess is for those people. It's the first time watching my videos. But I'm going to twist this, make it a bit more. There we go, look at that. I do want something over here as well because it's looking a bit lonely. So this is going to mix with that dioxine purple. I just want some nice soft bits here. A bit smaller there behind all that. Bit of a thicker bit there. Now watch what I do to this. I want to soften that down within that dioxine purple. Yep, it's still wet, it hasn't dried on me. I don't want these very vibrant, I just want them subtly sitting there. I don't want them too liney as well, so I'm going to distort that behaviour as I see it coming from the blend. So I'm twisting the brush to stop it getting that liney look, if you know what I mean. It's all up to you how you move that brush. I'm keeping these nice and light. I'll wipe that brush, it's getting a bit of build up on there. And when I zoom back, you'll just see how it fixed up and gave this darker corner a bit of company. Now I'll show you what the yumminess is. Get some yumminess in here just to show you what it can do. Grabbing your titanium white again. Let's say here, I want to distinguish this bit in front there. Maybe this bit here is a bit more fluffier. And when you blend this stuff down, the yumminess, you just keep the vibrancy, the brightness of it there. You're just sitting it down into that smeared cloud colour. I'll show you. You might need to grab a smaller blending brush. You can use anything. Look at this little munted up thing that I've got. I just want to sit that down, get rid of the hard edges and gently, artistically manipulate it in a way where it's not like it was just stamped on. And that's your yumminess. See what that's done? We can grab some more titanium white, and wherever you feel, let's put something here. You're pretty much just stamping bits on like that. I've never used a little brush like this to sit it down before, but I am, just to show you in this one. See, leave the vibrancy there. You're just sitting it down, whichever way is going to work for you. Sit some of that down. And you can see by adding that yumminess what it has done to those clouds. I want to dry my sky, and then I'm going to start putting the mountain in there. I'll slowly come forward. I've got some burnt sienna and white, so I want to mix up a couple of values of this. So we'll get this going because I want it to accent that colour red gold in the background in the sky. So we'll probably get this quite light. I'll work out the value that I want, just so as I can map in my mountain and give it some highlights as well. Okay, here's my horizon line. I want my mountain coming from about here. I don't want to start from here where I stop my sky and have it way up here. You can very easily fall into that trap of doing things like that. So I'm going to pretty much come from here and get the height of it the way I want it, okay? I'll put a lip there, a lip there. I'll pick up some more paint. Come down and probably another, and then come all the way down there like that. And now I just want to simply map that in all the way down to your horizon line. Get it right down there, just brush it in. Get this edge in a bit nice, there we go. I've just used a flat brush, mixed it with a flat brush and blocked it in with a flat brush. Now what I want to do is grab some more white and make that a lot lighter, just to highlight that mountain. So we'll mix that next to that pile so we can just see the difference occurring. And I'll mix it up with this brush, but I'll grab a smaller flack so I can get into those nooks and crannies of the valleys within the mountain. Now you can dry your mountain. I haven't dried mine yet, but what I'll do, all these bits here, I'm going to simply bring some white down, but see, it's not doing nothing, so I will dry it and watch the difference. Now I've dried that. Now we can scratch around some. Look at this color now, it's going to sit on there, look at that, and just scratch it around and bring where you feel you want your lighter. Now if you've done too much bright areas, don't panic. We can always put the darks back where you feel you might need it. So I'm pretty much coming down there. See, I'm having a zigzag from the middle of the mountain there, if anything, and just scoot it away. Let it break up. It's looking mountainish. We'll get some along this side here. So I'm going to make me zigzag line there. There we go. And let that fade, scratch it down. Now we're not painting in oils, so don't feel obligated like you might see oil artists getting a knife and scratching it on. We're painting in acrylic, so acrylics behave a lot different to oils. If you can get the same finish the way the oil artists do, that's great. But if you can't, it's always easy to control the snow, the ice, the highlights, like I'm doing here, just with a brush. And we simply scrumble that in till we're happy with the different flavors of the lights and darks on everything. I'll bring a bit here as well. Now this ain't going to be too detailed, but you get the gist of what I'm up to, the vibe I'm going for within my mountain. And also, I want the very bottom, if we can, just scrumble up and fade there. So it's the same value, but lighter, brighter. Now see, I'm getting, because my brush is folding on the canvas, I'm getting a heavy spot there. Try not to let that happen. Take your time, there's no rush. And like I said, if you've done too much brightness, you can always put the darker values back. See here, I can probably get some, watch this, just down there, look at that. Just coming off these ridges here. Just playing with it. Same there. I don't know, I'm just mucking around here, but at the end of the day, people are going to see it on your wall and they're going to know exactly what it is. If you want to put the tiniest bit of pizzazz into it, grabbing just the burnt sienna on its own, and if it's not dark enough, you can always put a bit of burnt umber with it, but let's just see. Chisel that little flat brush, and you can probably get some darkness. I'll do it on here and I'll have a look at my monitor to see if it's working or not. And it's adding a bit of, I'll take a lot of that off the brush, just so as I can, yeah, there we go, fade it down. You don't want your brush too heavily loaded. That's if you want to do this. You don't have to. I'm not sure if I wanted to do this or not, but I'm doing it for the sake of the video. So we're just getting a bit more of a darker value within there. There we go. Because you need the darks to accent the lighter values within your painting. And that does look a little bit, I feel, not too bad. Now see that heavy bit there? I'll show you how to fix that up if you've done something like that. Simply grab that colour that was on there before and you're going to panel beat it. There we go. And of course always finish it with the bright colour if you feel you've gone over too much of your brighter areas. I've even made it a little bit brighter, just so you might want to get some snow trickling down, whatever, over those dark bits. A nice ridge there. And I've done all that just with the brush. Dry mixing and blending. Bit down there. And it kind of creates the illusion that the mountain is not flat at the back of the painting. It's got dimension and it's coming from the back of the painting forward. Okay, just putting those shapes, darks and values, brighter and darker values within those areas of the mountain. Mountain's finished. I want to mask it up and get across the horizon line, and I want to map in the water. Now, I've already put my traceable on there so as I can do the video in quicker, but you can put that on after you've done the water. Just before I do the water, I'm going to grab my pouncer to put the moon in. So I've given it a light spray, and I just want to pick up some of the craft white to really get that pouncer covered. Okay, it's covered. Now I pick up the good titanium white. Doesn't matter if it gets a bit of that brown in it, because I want it a dirty. I'll let some of that brown get in there. I want it tainted. I don't want it pure white. Let's get a bit more of that in there. Now I'm still going to come back to this paint. So what I did, I was a cheeky bugger. I got my squirty bottle and gave it a light squirt. And then we can highlight this colour brilliantly. So in mapping out the layout of this painting, you want to make sure you've left enough room from these clouds, because this moon's going to go about here. If I put it there, it's going to be wrong, isn't it? So I want this about over here. I'll give it a bit of a twist. First I'll stamp it on. That's okay. I'll give it a bit of a twist. And now I'm just going to grab a flat brush and manipulate that into my moon. It does look round. Different camera angles distort it. Now I've got some grey here. I've changed my brush just so I can get one to manipulate it. Work out what brush or what detail brush is going to work for you. This might be too big, but I'll see how I go. And it's a filbert so I can keep the round edge. I want to get some grey within there, just here and there. I'll show you. I dried the moon a little bit because it was incredibly wet. So I've dried it a little bit just so it's not going to be too wet. And all I'm doing is simply adding some thicker grey body there like that. Now I'm going to simply wipe that off the brush so my brush is kind of dry, and I just want to kind of manipulate that into that tainted, contaminated white colour of the body of the moon. And then when we add the pure white, it'll just give it dimension. So pretty much around there. I've got me darker bits where I want it. I mean, I could have just mucked around with a pouncer, but you want to know how to paint and how to use a brush, and this is going to help you. Now when I add the pure white, watch what happens. I've cleaned that same brush. I'm going to pick up some titanium white, and we're just going to subtly highlight that moon. So I'll start from this edge here. See this filbert is going to help me get to the round edge there, look. Leave some of the grey there, and I want to bring it in. And now I'm going to pretty much paint the moon all the white colour. And it doesn't matter if it scrumbles and fades a bit, that's all part of the parcel. I'll get some of this around here. See how that's a hard line there? I don't like that. I'm a real fussy bugger. I'm sure you are as well. So I'll just sort of wipe the brush dry. And it's only a little object in the painting, but it deserves as much attention as the bigger objects. Remember that when you're doing a painting. All the objects within it deserve the same attention. And see how I'm just simply sitting those edges down. You can do that. Pick up some more. Didn't have much on my brush then. And keep your circle, your sphere. And I'm simply going to come in as well. So now I'm wiping that off because I want to soften that stuff as well. You've got the contaminated white, we've got the grey, and we've got the pure white. And when I zoom back at this, it's just going to give it that bullshit flavour. Even if you want to pick up a little bit more grey, because you might have washed too much of your grey out, go back with it. Bit there, that's it. Don't overdo it. It's not a bad moon, it's not a big white one right in your face type of moon. It's okay. Okay, I've masked up my horizon line. Now I want the watercolour. We're going to pretty much duplicate that down here, but I know some of you beginners are going, oh no, that's just too impossible. Watch this. We're going to make that so easy. See this colour here, the vibe, this orangey colour? We just want a lighter value down here. I've still got my craft white to prime it up, and I'm going to grab a bit of this red gold just to make a lighter value of the sky colour. So watch this. It doesn't have to be almighty bright and trying to get a mirror image finish. So we'll get that right on there. And I simply want to come across the painting and get me water in. Watch this. I could still see my traceable. That's why I put it on, because I knew in painting this, I'm going to have a lighter watercolour. If it was a dark watercolour, you've got to put it on laterwards. I can see my little animals there. Now there's our water. Watch this. Grab a bit of darker value of this on your brush. That red gold. Where are we? There we go, there. There, let's just make some darker values of it there. Stamping it on with the side of your brush. There we go. And now I'm going to sweep that and waterify it. Look at this, how that water's happening. Okay. And last but not least, we'll grab some of the dioxine purple, because we've got that colour in the corner. What I'm doing, I've got all light paint around this brush, so I'm deliberately getting rid of that as I stamp it in here. So when I stamp it on the canvas, I'm not going to get this light colour in me blend, hopefully. And I want to get some of this darker value radiating, where are we? About there in the water. Not too close to me animals because I want to see them, but that's just putting that darker value in there, but it's a lighter value of what's up top. And I'm just going to simply waterify that right across the painting as well. just come from the one side. Now I will put the mountain in there. So how are we going to do that mountain? This water's still wet. Let's act on that. I'm just simply going to pick up the darker colour of the mountain on a flat brush, appropriate. And then from here, where's the bottom of the tape? There it is there. I want to stamp this on. I'll come along there, up and down, pick up some more. So I want this sideways because the water has ripples sideways there and coming back down, a bit up there, and we're going to come back down to there. Now we'll stamp the rest of this on like so. Don't worry about trying to get all the snow and the ridges in there. This is a reflection, it's night time, but we're going to have it there, okay? So there we go, we've got our reflection of the mountain in there. Now simply grab a large enough flat brush, let's say a dry brush or something. I'm going to use this one. You can use your putter runner brush so long as it's clean, and we're just simply going to pull that across. Nice and easy. There we go. Now if you want to, let's just see if we can pull it down a bit. Pull it down gently, just gently here and there. One go each. Don't do it 500,000 times. And then just go back over it again nice and softly. And there's our reflection of the mountain. Now look how easy that was to get the sky and all that in the water. You can put this in there. Got me pounce, I'm going to pick up the soft titanium white. It's going to smear with the watercolour. The watercolour's still wet, so I want to take advantage of it. And pretty much from there, I want to come from here, stamp it on. Well, actually, it's about there, the body of it. And I'm just going to pull that down and let it fade, let it fade, let it fade, let it fade. Let it fade like that. Grab your big brush again. And we're going to waterfy that. Use the edge of the brush to really, there we go, distort it. That's it. Wasn't that easy? Now we've got to put trees here and they're going to have some reflection, so we don't want to get too detaily with that moon reflection. Alright, now I've got some burnt umber black and our white again. Find your favourite flat that's quite chiselled and sharp. See how sharp that is there? Find you one of those. Now I want to do some different distant trees, so I'm going to grab some burnt umber, just a little bit of that on there. There we go. So we're going to have a group of these different trees. So where's my deer? Oh, let's hope. So about there and about here, let's say. So I want to grab this brush and I want to create my tree. So I'm going to start in the middle. These are just my pine trees, up and down. Cover your horizon line. Actually, I'll go a smaller brush than that because that's a little bit too big. Okay, because I want to get these trees there like this. Stamping all the way along. Get them, you want them nice and pointy at the tops. The other brush was just putting too much in the water. I want to control what I put down in the water. Now that water's wet, so I might have to give it a bit of a dry. See how we go. But roughly about here, I want these size pine trees in front of the mountain there. There we go. Fix up some of this and simply pull it down. Now those trees are not dark enough. It's sitting. I've got to get them darker. All right, we'll go again. Now I'll put the slightest bit of black in that, so there we'll get our trees in where we want them. This brush, if anything's a little bit on the thick side, I would like it to be chiseled, but my flat brushes lose their sharpness so easily. Make sure you're doing it straight, not crooked. I want to just lightly pull them down in front of the mountain's reflection. There we go. Done. Okay, adding some more black to that burnt umber. I'm going to need a bit more as well because these are going to have some bigger trees there now. So we'll do the top half of the water, then we'll lay the bottom ones in and pull them down into the reflection. So it's pretty much a blacky brown colour. And I want to come, there's going to be one right off the painting there. So actually I'm going to need, here's another brush. I can use my bigger one now that I had before that was sharper, because these are bigger trees. And I want the tops of these, it's important to get the tops of these, let's say one right up here, about that high. So I'll get the height of them in first. One's going to be about there, just so you can see. It's going to be about there. And we'll have another one a bit under the moon there, about there. And another one probably over here, a little bit higher. So they're kind of staggered in their height. And then we can bring something here in front of the mountain. Now, let's grab this and stamp these on. So, oh, hang on. Let's get that there. Let's try this one. I'm going to use the corner of my brush and see if I can get some kind of palm tree. Not a palm tree, a pine tree with this flat brush. Not quite working, so I've gone to a fan brush and I'm going to use that because these are going to be a bit thicker. And we want a bit of air in between them, but we want them quite solid as well. Bring them roughly down to the water line, like that. Find the corner of your brush, keep that tip there, and start making the tip of your, whatever these trees are in America, pine trees, evergreen trees. When you know what something looks like, you have more of a understanding of how to paint it. So forgive me if my evergreens, everglades or whatever they are aren't quite on mark, but see, I want it a bit fatter than that as well. It's not fat enough. Leave the tip of it there, come down. See, that one I started it right on the tip, come back off the tip so it'll stay nice and sharp. And I'm simply gonna, these will be subtly highlighted as well. Now I'm deliberately at the top there, I'll fill this up because I've got no sky there. I deliberately left some sky in between that. Let's get this a bit higher. There we go. Now we're just simply going to fill in the gaps. Lower one there, a lower one there. Come away from the top and then block them in, block them in, block them in. Doesn't matter if you see bits of the brown behind it because that's in the background. This bit of white sky here I've got to cover up. So yeah, there we go, I've covered that up. There we go. And when we highlight these, it'll make up. I better put something there. Look at that. Let's just pretend there's one here somewhere. And it's way off the painting, but I'm going to paint it like it's coming onto the painting, just so as I can cover up that bit of sky there. There we go. Now we've got to simply put those reflections in the water. I'm simply going to scratch from there. Scratch, 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 come back up, just follow the tops of the trees there. I'm following the top, that one's coming down, there we go. I'm scratching it, there's a bit of a longer one there, and then this one's all the way there in a nice long line. Don't worry how light it looks, because then we've got the actual body of our reflection there. Now we can just grab any brush, same brush or something different, and you can, from the base, it's got to be thicker, like so. This is an easy way to get your reflections on an acrylic water. Doesn't have to be perfect. Then you can simply, from the horizon line, and just bang, 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 bang. That way you've got the horizon line reflection all along there, reasonably straight. Just quickly the same over here. I want to put some, I'm going to quickly scratch them in like this because this is going to have something in front of it. I'm just kind of hiding my undone parts of the sky there. There we go, about there. Just grabbing a flat brush now just to get the tops of these done and in the water there. Now there's my horizon line, nice and straight. Pull down, pull down. That's it, done, leave it alone. I want to grab the subtlest of white and mix with that just to get a highlight. Now I'm using a small hog bristle brush. Let's get a bit of highlight and watch what this does. So I want to come from the moon side and kind of just scratch in, is that picking that up? Scratch in bits of highlight on each tree like so. Not too much, just enough to put each tree, like this is going to put this one in front of that one there. Watch what I do here. So he's coming down and there he is in front of that one all the way down, and leave it dark at the bottom. Pull them into the reflection as well. It's just subtle, and I'm going to do the same on the other side. I'll make up for the detail in the water properly. I didn't go down low enough with that one's reflection, but it's only a painting. I'm just using simple black and a detailed brush. It's still a little bit wet, and I want to get me deer. I think it's a deer. Don't get these animals in Australia. And I'm simply going to cut this in. I can see my tracing line there quite easily. Whether the camera's picking it up or not, I don't know. I could have easily hid that from you and just make out I'm doing it freehand, eh? Can't do that though. I want you to know how to do everything. Quickly do the little baby, and here, and here. And that's how much fun it is with detail brushes. I'm just grabbing that black, brown, the real darkness of it all. Simply block the water in where we got up to. Come to the bottom of their legs there, not too high up. There we go. All the way off there. Boom, continue right off the painting so your line will look proper and normal. Now just in this corner here, I'm just grabbing the simple black and I want to put some silhouette of that kind of shrub there and solid to the ground there. And we'll come about to here, just like that. And then we'll put our tree, and this tree is going to be wonderful. I'm just going to grab some white. My brush is filthy dirty. Get it kind of grey looking. And I'm going to have a tree over that silhouette, but before I put the tree there, I want some of this just in front of it, making up. Now I might have to dry it first. Let's have a look. Just to create some kind of value in the land there, and when you put the tree over it, it sets it back and it gives it a bit of depth. So picking up the black, I want to bring my tree from here. I'll go in the middle of the trunk, so the trunk's going to probably go here like that, just like that, and up to here, bang. And then we can have a branch coming out here maybe, there and there. And this one can probably have a branch out that way there. Now I'm just going to thicken that up to your painting. There we go. Now we'll dry that. Before I do that tree, I'm grabbing some of the, this is glaze. I'm going to get a bit of white and just taint it, because this dries a lot see-throughy than the actual white paint. Like I said, I want to put some film on top of the water. So make sure it's dry when you do this, otherwise it'll bring the colours of the water in front. So we'll sort of, let's see how bright that is. Let's hope it don't go too bright. I want to come across the horizon line there, like so, and just simply start gently putting horizontal lines across the water there, sinking all our reflections down, and you can see what vibe this is creating within your painting, creating your painting. All the way here, and I'll get some more intense stuff over that reflection of the moon, but there we go. Putting a little bit more white within that glaze just so it won't be as see-throughy. And we're simply going to, where's our moon? Here's our moon reflection, all here. Just simply intensify some of it. Make sure your brush is straight. Okay, I've given this a dry. We'll put a little bit of white against the tree trunk from the moon, and then we're going to put this foliage on, and that's going to make it go bullshit. Grabbing your filbert, I got my burnt umber here for the dark foliage, and the red gold is the highlight. So work out what branches are holding what. We've got a nice piece right up here. You want to start from the top and bring it down into umbrellas like that. Try not to get, see how I've got that big blob there? Try not to get that. Let's put another piece right there. Sink your trunk back. I'm going to get that a bit scratchy there. There we go. Sink a lot of your trunk back. This is the darker value. See this trunk here, the bit of trunk? We want to put a nice blob there now. Now if this isn't dark enough, you can always add a little bit of black, not too much black. See there, I just darkened that up, because you need these darks to accentuate the brighter colours. Coming over the water. It doesn't look like much now, but once we highlight it, it's going to go wow, bang, and it's going to just look beautiful. Get something here. Try and make the tree a good shape. Not too much of a round. Not all trees are apple trees. Sometimes we can just make our trees look too much like an apple tree. This is way out here, way out there. Give that a dry, and then we're going to simply highlight it with some yumminess. Down here, same brush, I've just cleaned it. I've got the red gold, and we'll put a bit of white in it. Now simply going to the tops of the tree. Make your shapes. I want to bring a bit in front of there, a bit there, and this one can come in front of there. Bring that one there. We're creating all the little bits of umbrellas within our tree, right at the top of it. And we'll give it the subtlest highlight again, just by adding more white. Like here, is it? I'm going to have to look and just see. You want this nice and more detailed. See how light I'm touching? Very light. At the tops. Leaving that second colour there a lot, you're just slightly highlighting some of it, and it's dribbling in front of the black. You're accentuating every bulb of foliage in your tree there. Lovely luscious tree. I don't know what sort of tree it is, but Probably an autumny one. And there we go. Okay, let me autograph this and then we'll whack a frame on it and see how she looks. And be sure to share, like and subscribe. And thank you to all my patrons who support my content every month. So much appreciated. Okay, let's have a look at that. Yeah, that's not too shabby, is it? We've got pretty much an American lake mountain scene, wouldn't you say, by the moonlight. Bit of wildlife there. And I know you can do it. Well, like I said, it's a very doable painting. I'm happy with that. And if you're happy with it, give me the thumbs up. Tell your friends if you like what you see on my channel. But if you don't like what I'm doing, you tell everybody. Goodbye, good luck, and good on ya.